Technically, yes, this is a cheap versus expensive Stratocaster video, but it's also about so much more. Let's talk about these Strats. I got a new player and a new custom shop, and all about colors and upgrades and everything that you can do in between to make these guitars maybe a little closer than they appear. Stick around. How's it going, y'all? This is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the videos, and check out our podcast and our social media and all the other fun ways to hear more about guitars, because that's all we talk about over here. We talk about everything else as well, but guitars is the most fun. So let's talk about some Strats. First off, I've got a player and a custom shop. I'm going to dig a little bit into the specs of the custom shop first, and then we'll kind of revisit the tried and true player Strat and talk about, what makes them different, why you're paying so much more for this one, and maybe some upgrades that I would recommend on a guitar like the player. But recently I did a video, once again, talking about relicking versus NOS versus, journeyman and heavy relic and all that. Everybody knows at this point, I like non-relic guitars, but let's throw that all out the window, because when you see a relic guitar that looks really nice, then you kind of, you get over it. Some people really love the relicking. You're already hooked when I showed you this one. But for you non-relicers like myself, just take a second to appreciate. It looks great, and I do like this guitar. What won me over was the feel and how it played. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of the specs. I got the Floor Traveler right here. First off, this is a 63 Strat from the custom shop. So it's a 2023, but it's a 63. This is aged candy apple red, and the relicking level is relic. As a quick reminder, you've got NOS, new old stock, that is not relic at all. Then you got the Journeyman, then you got relic, then you got super heavy relic, and that is, when it's got like dirt on it and stuff. So this is right before the point when they rubbed it in dirt, but it definitely has some signs of wear and tear where you would see the wear when it happens. But one of the best things about candy apple red with relicking like this, I think, is checking looks really good on it. Now, you can barely see it because, I'm looking at a different angle than you are, but the checking on this guitar, which is the lines that show up in an old nitrocellulose lacquer guitar, the checking looks fantastic on this. We got one player Telecaster one time that was like a mistake from the factory, and it was checked all over, and it was one of the coolest looking guitars I've ever seen. So this is a nicely reliced candy apple red guitar, and you can tell it looks like it's been reliced, but like I said, get over that and let's just dive into it a little bit more. The pickups in this thing are the hand-wired Texas Special pickups. Some of my favorite for Stratocaster, I have Texas Specials on one of my guitars, not the custom shop hand-wound, but I love the sound of the Texas Specials. It works really great with this guitar. The first thing that really grabbed me as I grabbed it was the neck. This is a really very, very nice roasted maple neck. It is kind of worn down in the cash register area, not as much on the upper register, but you can't see it that much because it is roasted, so it kind of blends in, but you can see it when you're up close. It is a nicely worn roasted maple neck, and it has the round lamb AAA grade rosewood on the fretboard. A couple other things, the neck carve is a 63 style C. Now, usually on these, we'll see it like on the one that we did the other day, it was like the large C. The other one that I've got today, the player, has a modern C. Sometimes it's a soft V. You know all the shapes, but you can imagine kind of what they feel based on the name. This just says the 63 Strat style C. It is kind of chunky. It's not a baseball bat, but it's definitely not as thin as the modern. And I would say that if I were to spec out my own custom Stratocaster, I would probably point them towards this neck shape. I think it's the perfect kind of feel for me. That's my favorite part about this guitar. Spoiler alert. But I love the neck shape. So that really kind of, like I said, grasped me as I grasped it. But otherwise, you got a 9.5-inch radius on the frets. Yeah, I mean, that's the most important stuff right there. And it's got, because some people ask, it's got narrow toe frets. And it does have a butt width on here, which is my favorite spec that they include. And if you want to know the butt width, it's 2.2 inches. So that is the 63 custom shop Strat that I got in this week. I like it. I like the look. I love the clay dots on the rosewood. I like the roasted maple neck. And I love the pickups. Now, let's move to the player Strat, kind of revisit, because we get so much new stuff in all the time. We don't necessarily always revisit the classics and the bread and butter of what kind of sells the most. So, coincidentally, at the same time that we received the Candy Apple Red custom shop Stratocaster, we received one of the new Finnish Candy Apple Red players. So, first thing I want to talk about is colors. Now, we did another video today, if you notice, I'm wearing the same shirt as the Les Paul Deluxe 70s video that may have come out before this or may be coming soon. Colors on electric guitar. I think it is important for manufacturers and builders, brands, designers from all these storied brands. Listen to what people want, because I'm getting opinionated here. A lot of the colors that brands put out on their electric guitars that are such classics, like a Les Paul or Stratocaster or Telecaster, I don't want those. I don't speak for everybody out there, but I think the majority of people like the classics. I'm not talking that every guitar's got to be black or sunburst or white, but Fender, especially in their history, have some of the best colors for guitars. Candy Apple Red, Fiesta Red, Dakota Red, Sonic Blue, Seafoam Green. Seafoam Green, Candy Apple Red are the new colors on the Player Series. So you can get this on the Strat, HSS Strat, Telecaster, Jaguar, Jazzmaster, and you can also get Seafoam Green. I love those colors. I think that a lot of people, whether they are old school guys or gals that always watched, Strats on TV and always wanted when all their favorite players played Strats, or they're new players that just want to get into, learning. I think that too many colors are geared towards what people think young people want. And as one of the younger people that works at Alamo Music, I wouldn't say that I'm like this super old school traditionalist all the time, but I do like the classic colors. I don't love buttercream. I don't love Tide Pool. I don't love neon yellow and flash green and, hot pink and stuff. I just want something that looks classic, that doesn't look like I'm also going to the senior center. You know what I'm saying? So we do have some nice colors. That's my little quick rant on colors. If you have seen that other Les Paul video, they brought the wine red to the Les Paul Deluxe. I like the wine red. It's cool, and it's not like a age-specific thing that you got to be over 60 or under 15 to enjoy. Anybody can dig the wine red. So Candy Apple Red. Now, the Player Strat, made in Mexico, it is kind of the go-to for a lot of people that are trying to step up from maybe their first guitar, which might have been a Squire. Some people get a Player, or what it was known as before, which was the Standard, as their first guitar. My first guitar was a made in Mexico Standard Stratocaster, and I loved it, and it was sunburst, if you're wondering. So I still have it. It's still awesome, and I think the Player Series, as kind of an entry level of North American-made electric guitars from Fender, I believe this is the lowest priced guitar that has Fender on the headstock. So it's a nice quality piece. This is maple fretboard, so you don't have the rosewood. You will not get rosewood on made in Mexico guitars. You will get Palfero, but it's the closest you're going to get. Compared to the custom shop, there's a few key differences besides the neck. This is a modern C. It's maple or Palfero. Now, on the Candy Apple Red, you don't have the Palfero option. I believe on the Seafoam Green, you do. These are not custom shop, hand-wound Texas Special pickups. These are Player Series Alnico 5 Strat pickups. Switching is exactly the same. Knobs do the exact same thing. So when it comes to kind of big differences. I think for me, the two main things that were the differences in playing these are the neck. You already know that I love that neck. And the pickups, you already know that I love those pickups. So before I get into kind of upgrades and what I might do to this guitar, let's take a listen to both of them. I'm playing the same exact amp, same settings, same kind of vibe on both of these guitars. I think you can hear a real difference, and you shouldn't have to plug in headphones or turn on your studio monitors. You should be able to hear it on the phone that I'm sure you're watching this on, but take a listen to the difference between those two, and I'll kind of tell you my thoughts on the other side. there you have it. There's a little taste on both of these guitars. Now, obviously, this one plays a little bit better. This one sounds a little bit better. Now, do you think that it looks better? First off, if you wanted to make this guitar more like this one, just tie it up behind the truck and just go driving around. You can relic this however you would like. But I would say that, yes, if this guitar was an NOS finish, brand new, even a journeyman, I would probably like a little bit more. I just don't, I'm not crazy about that kind of stuff, but some people are, and especially if that's your thing, this is a prime example of a perfect Stratocaster. Like I said, if it was not relict, it would be like a dream guitar to me. I've always loved candy apple. I've always loved rosewood. I like roasted maple. And the pickups are what I would like them to be. So that's a winner for me. Over here, like I said, I have a Mexican standard Strat. It is basically a player Strat. And I've never done anything to it because I never thought like, oh, this would be my dream guitar. If I change the pickup to be like a mint, like this one is kind of minty aged. So if you want to get a player Strat and you want it to be a little kicked up, you can change your pick guard, you can change your plastic parts, you can get different knobs and a different switch cap and different pickup covers. You can change up the look pretty easily. You can switch your tuners, you can put locking tuners, you can put vintage style tuners. But the couple big things, you could switch these pickups out to just regular Texas Specials, and I think it would sound a little bit better. These are kind of what I'm not trying to be too pretentious here, but when it comes to Player Series, they are the pickups that you get with a Fender name on the headstock that I think have the least kind of overt personality, the least amount of coloring. This is like if you took the average Stratocaster across everything and an AI created a pickup. And yes, that's a joke of the times. That does not mean it sounds bad. It just sounds like an average Stratocaster. The pickup switching is going to do the exact same thing. You know that I love the in-between sounds, and I know you love them too. This is going to do it all for you. These have a little less power than the custom shop ones did. They have a little just less personality to me. So you can get the normal Texas Special pickups. You could go for pure vintage pickups, or you could go higher and higher. You can look outside of the Fender factory, find the right pickups for you. That is an instant upgrade to this guitar that I think is, relatively a small investment to kind of make this thing have your personality a little bit more. So that's one thing you can do. You could also replace the neck, and that's the kind of beauty of Fenders is Leo Fender designed these to be modular. If a part broke, you take that part off and you replace it with a new one. So you could get yourself a roasted maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. You could stay all maple. You could get a different carve. You can put a soft V on here, make it fatter, make it thinner. So that is kind of the two big things on this. Now, the Modern C, it's almost the same as the pickups. It is super easy to play. It's, it's kind of what any beginner would want from a Stratocaster. It's not so thin that it hurts your hand. I feel like for me, if the neck gets any thinner than that, I almost kind of cramp up playing it. And then a lot of people really don't like super fat necks. But if you play around, you try some different guitars, you can really find a neck that conforms to your playing style a little bit better. Fender sells necks, Fender sells pickups, and other people sell necks and pickups. So while this guitar was not made in the custom shop in California, and it does not have the over $4,000 price tag on it, the under $1,000 price tag lets you play it, get to know it, enjoy it, and then save up a little bit more. Maybe switch out some pickups, and maybe just switch out one pickup. I mean, so many people put a Seymour Duncan in the bridge and call it a day, get a little bit hotter on there. Save up and get a different neck, get some different hardware, some different plastic parts. This is a great canvas guitar, and I feel like a lot of people say that about Squier. Squiers are also the same when it comes to something that you can modify and kind of make your own. But I think for me, this is a great kind of starting point for a guitar that will last you forever if you take care of it. I mean, my Mexican Strat is now almost 20 years old, and it feels amazing. It's worn in nicely to where I play it the most. It does not look like it has been heavy reliced, but you know, it still looks like an NOS because I don't know who does that to their guitar, smashes it around. But you can make this guitar get closer to that guitar with a few different options that will not cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. However, if you're looking for something that is a showpiece and something extremely fancy that I do think right out of the box setup sounds exactly like how I want a Strat to sound and plays like I want a Strat to play, this is a great option as well. Side note that is very, very little compared to the things I'm talking about. This does not come with the case at all. This comes in a box. This does come with a very nice hard shell case, but that's probably the quickest and easiest thing that you can do to upgrade this guitar is get a gig bag or get a case. But the custom shop, it's fantastic. I don't have to tell you that over and over. This guitar sounds great. I do think that it sounds much better than this guitar, but this guitar can really be modified and changed to your personal style because that's kind of the beauty of Fender, the modular nature. So check this one out. Check out the new colors across the line, Candy Apple Red and Seafoam Green. Side note, they did introduce new colors to the Player Plus line as well. They're not these. They put Fiesta Red and Sienna Sunburst, two other colors that I do like on the Player Plus guitars. And then when it comes to custom shop, you know where I stand. I like the NOS, but if they have to be reliced, they better play like this. This one did kind of blow me away, so you feel me. I like them both, but you can find a lot in between as well. So if you're interested in a player, if you're interested in a custom shop, Alamo Music is the place for you to be. Visit our website, alamomusic.com. You can see all the Strats and Tellys and Jazzmasters and Jaguars and jazz basses and precision basses and all the other stuff that we have in stock. And if you like custom shop, we do kind of have a schedule of what's coming in this year. And not all of them are reliced. Not all of them are normal guitars. Some are a little weird, and I'm very excited to show them to you. So please hit us up, give us a call, email us, message us online. We'd love to talk to you about all the cool stuff that's going to be in this year. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.